Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a little bit of a look at a new Nessa card. And when I say a new Nessa card, I actually mean the first Nessa card we've ever had in the Pokemon TCG. Now, I did show you the other day that Nessa is actually going to be getting her own little box over in Japan. You're going to be getting the Nessa High Class Pack, which is going to come with a couple boxes of an upcoming set in Japan, along with deck box sleeves, etc. Well, it turns out Nessa is also getting a supporter in Astonishing Volt Tackle, which we expect will be part of Vivid Voltage, but I was chatting with a couple of people this morning and it occurs to me that Champion's Path is a gym leaders focused set. Would it not be weird to not include these gym leader cards? I don't know. It's going to be in one of them anyway. It doesn't make sense time-wise to put it in Champion's Path, but thematically, totally does. Our translation, of course, comes from the lovely Antoine Boulet. I'm sure you probably guessed that by now. And what does Nessa actually do? Well, Nessa says, choose up to 4 water Pokemon and water energy from your discard pile and put them into your hand. Now, there is a handy little translation note from Antoine here that says that is up to 4 total, not 4 of each. I.e., you can get 4 water Pokemon, or 4 water energy, or 2 of each, or 3 of one, and 1 of the other. This is wonderful. I mean, firstly, in terms of recovery, if we compare this to other similar recovery cards, it's not even close. Like, if we take something along the lines of Ordinary Rod, and yes, I know Ordinary Rod is an item card, I do get that. Ordinary Rod is 2 Pokemon, 2 energy into your deck, but it has to be up to 2 Pokemon, up to 2 energy. You cannot get 4 Pokemon, you cannot get 4 energy, and they go into your deck, not your hand, so then even when you've got them in your deck, you've got to go find them again. I mean, Fisherman is a card that springs to mind for me here quite a lot. Fisherman will be rotating. It was last printed in Celestial Storm, so we're going to be losing it. It gets 4 basic energy from your discard pile into your hand. Well, the thing is, this does that. No, it's only for water energy, admittedly. This does that, but it also does so much more, because you can get essentially any number of Pokemon up to 4 if you swap them for energy. 2 energy, 2 Pokemon. 3 energy, 1 Pokemon. 1 energy, 3 Pokemon. 0 energy, 4 Pokemon. You see where we're going with this. It's wonderful. Of course, up to now, our big recovery supporter that most people have been playing is Brock's Grit, which incidentally will be surviving the rotation because Brock's Grit was last printed, was actually printed in Hidden Fates, and it was printed in Team Up. So, yeah, we're good for Brock's Grit. Brock's Grit will be staying. And that is 6 in any combination of Pokemon and basic energy. And bearing in mind Nessa is specifically water Pokemon, water energy. But again, it's into your deck. Sure, in your average everyday run-of-the-mill deck, obviously I'd rather have Brock's Grit. But in a water deck, this is brilliant. And remember, we've actually got that weirdly named Capacious Bucket card. Seriously, hands up if you'd ever heard the word Capacious before it was printed on that card. Now put your hands down. Capacious Bucket just lets you search for 2 water energy and put them into your hand. It is, other than on your first turn going second, a better copy of Energy Spinner, but is limited to water decks. And of course, this might be a good time to mention Frostmoth. Frostmoth is going to love this. Frostmoth, remember, is that water Pokemon that lets you attach as much water energy from your hand to your bench water Pokemon as you like during your turn. And now you've got Capacious Bucket to search that energy out in the first place. And it's also got Nessa to either get it back or get some of your Pokemon back at the same time. So you can go ahead and get your attacker back and free water energy, so then you've got your attacker and free energy ready to just attack straight away. It's wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. It is absolutely wonderful. And of course, this might be a good time to remind ourselves about that Cramorant Arrokuda combo that we mentioned yesterday. You see, I told you about Cramorant and Arrokuda yesterday. Arrokuda's got an attack that lets you search for 2 Arrokuda and put them on your bench. Nice for getting set up in the early game. But Cramorant's got an attack. And remember, Cramorant is a basic Pokemon and it attacks for 2 colorless energy, which means you can totally use Twin Energy and use this turn 1 going second. And it allows you to discard as many Arrokuda as you like from your bench, and then do 60 damage for each Arrokuda discarded in this way. So up to a maximum 240 damage, which is a little bit over the top. And I said I loved this, but I did contend that after you get the first one rolling, i.e. the first Cramorant, it was going to be moderately difficult to keep it rolling. You discard 4 Arrokuda from your bench, and you can get those Arrokuda back with stuff like Ordinary Rod, but trying to get all 4 Arrokuda back and then back on the bench and all of that regularly was going to be difficult. And then Nessa's like, hey, because Nessa does it perfectly. Nessa comes in and just lets you get those 4 Arrokuda. Now, of course, there is a bench space issue here. You need your Cramorant, you need your 4 Arrokuda, and then you're going to need some kind of Pokemon draw. Because that's the big downside with cards along these lines. Anytime you're sitting there rocking supporters that don't draw cards, you need to draw your cards in some other way. And we've got plenty of options. We've got Cinccino, works as a nice little draw engine. We've got Jirachi. And of course, the advantage with Jirachi, and admittedly we are losing a skateboard, which sucks. But the thing about Jirachi is that essentially if Cramorant gets KO'd after you've discarded all your benched Arrokuda, that will just leave your Jirachi. So your Jirachi goes up into the active and then helps you get rolling from there. You will need some draw, and maybe that's going to end up being too awkward, because you've literally got 1 spare bench space time, you've got 1 Cramorant attacking and 4 Arrokuda, but then again, Nessa gets your 4 Arrokuda back, so if your Cramorant didn't get KO'd, Nessa is literally all you need, and if it did get KO'd, you'll also need a Cramorant and an energy. But it is also worth bearing in mind that you're not always going to need 4 Arrokuda for every KO, so you can use Nessa to get back 3 Arrokuda, and then your Cramorant, and then get rolling in that regard. Certainly if you want to play that Cramorant that I showed you yesterday, and I certainly do, and I'm hoping a lot of you... No, actually, I'm kind of hoping you guys don't, because I don't like mirror matches, but I'm certainly going to be playing it, so, you know, find a different deck. Nessa is going to be absolutely brilliant for it, and clearly Nessa is designed for this. Like, there is absolutely no way. It's kind of how we got Reshiram, a very nice big fire Pokemon that needs lots of energy and discards energy when it attacks, needs 3, discards 2 when it attacks, in the same black and white base set as Emboar, a Pokemon that attaches as much fire energy during your turn as you like. It is not a coincidence that those cards both came around in the black and white base set. They were designed to be used together. It's no coincidence that Nessa comes along with Cramorant and Arrokuda here. They are very much designed to be used together. But the great thing about Nessa is it's not just for a Cramorant deck. I think it's phenomenal in an Arrokuda deck. Well, Cramorant deck, call it what you will. But I do think there's also a lot of value here in using Nessa in just any water deck. All of a sudden, water decks just have that recovery that other decks don't. So now you've got Capacious Bucket, and you've got this, and admittedly, you've lost a few things. You lost Quagsire, which was a little bit sad, and we're losing Crasher Wake to the rotation, which is a little bit sad. But between Frostmoth, Capacious Bucket, and Nessa, water decks are starting to look like one of the favoured typings. Not to mention that Welder is making fire decks great at the moment, and you're hitting weakness on all of them. Also, one cool thing about water Pokemon, you can totally cover your weakness, because your average water Pokemon like Inteleon, for instance, is going to be weak to lightning, but then you're going to have all of those Pokemon like Ice-Cube that were ice or that are ice in the video game, that are going to come through in the trading card game with a metal weakness, so you get to cover it in that regard. It does seem like a lot of love is being given to water Pokemon right now. In terms of a score, I'm going to be giving Nessa between 3 and 4 Wassies. I like it very much indeed. I think it is great for recovery in water decks. I think it is great for Cramorant decks. And I do think it's one of those, if you're playing a water deck, you're probably going to end up playing at least one of these. 3 or 4 Wassies, don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. Maybe that is a little bit stingy. It feels a little bit stingy. But I've said it now, I'm going to stick with it. But I'd very much like to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wazzy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.